From the floor of the CME Group, this is Danny Riley on today's Cash Close. And the name of this video, S&P 500 Futures, boat too full. The high of the day in the S&P came in at 20.58.5 early afternoon. The low came in at 20.37 even early. And last, we're 20.50 even. We're down 3.8 handles. Total volume, we have 1.75 million minis trade and 5.5 thousand big S&Ps traded in the pit. MOC, the MIM had this one right again. It came out showing sell 423 million, and the actual MOC came out sell 300 million. Tomorrow we have the Federal Reserve Vice Chairman Stanley Fischer's speech from the Bundesbank in Frankfurt. We have the GDP number, we have the corporate profits number, we have the consumer sentiment number, and we have Federal Reserve Janet Yellen's speech on monetary policy in San Francisco. Now look, the S&P made a low overnight in globex, and sometimes it does that. We had a very weak close, and then we traded down to 20.33 and a quarter. Right below there was the low that we made right after, I think it was the rollover, and then the S&P started going higher, and I kept pounding it out on Twitter, and I kept pounding it out in the room that I thought that we were going to run a bunch of buy stops all day long, and we did. We ran them all the way up to 58.5 late in the day. But then the MIM started coming out showing for sale, and the futures went down right with it. And again, that coincides with this T+3 type end of the month selling that is associated with the quarter end rebalance. Now, I think the way this goes is you always got to keep an eye on those globex lows. And again, I've seen these lows happen many times, but that doesn't mean that doesn't preclude some type of retest. Now, I think as we go, what we saw today was the futures got real weak. There was, I think, the ICE increased margin calls on crude oil and crude oil options. There's the Saudis have got a war going on right now, and I think that it jacked up oil prices. They rallied, but not significantly. But the real deal there is that the clearing firms that have short premium sellers, they see the futures start ripping higher off of news like that, and then they start to increase their margin calls, and that sometimes creates a little larger push. But anyways, look, I think that there's still a possibility that we're not done with this decline yet, but I think it also came out that the markets didn't act all that bad today. We're going to leave it like that, and we'll see you tomorrow.